All right, here's your reach back for Monday. It's Wednesday, but I'm going to correct your Monday homework. It's a reach back with 18 questions. How many questions are on the sheet? Is there only 15, or is there a backside to it? 15 questions. 15 questions. Here we go. The first question is a bedmass question involving fractions. And you know that when you have more than one operation, you're to do the first part, which is multiplication. And when you multiply 1/2 by 1/3, you multiply the numerators and the denominators, you get 1/6. So if you have on your second line 1/6 plus 1/5, you have to be careful because 1/5 is still the first term in this expression. Now that you have it as 1/5 plus 1/6, find your common denominator, make your equivalent fractions, and your answer for this question is 11/30. Question number 2 is division. 1 2/5 divided by 1/2. When dealing with mixed fractions, it's always easier to use them as improper. And when using division, it's always easier to multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, so dividing something in half or dividing it by 2 is the same thing as finding half of something. So once you do that, multiply your numerators, you get 14. Multiply your denominators, you get 5. Your answer would be 2 4/5. 1 point for the work, 1 point for the answer. Question 3. 1 1/2 take away 2/5 divided by 3. I'm going to put 1/2 as 3 over 2. Take away 2/5 multiplied by the reciprocal, which will be 3 over 2. Take away 2/15. You multiply it out. Once you get to there, find your common denominator. 45/30 is equivalent to 3 over 2. Take away 4/30 will be 41/30, or 1 11/30. Your next question, 1 1/3 times 1 2/5. When dealing with multiple mixed fractions, change them to improper. Multiply your numerators to get 28. Multiply your denominators to get 15. The answer is 1 13/15. Either answer is okay. 1 point for the work, 1 point for the answer. Next question says 1/10 squared. Well, if I gave you 3 squared, you know that 3 squared would be 3 times 3, which in standard form would be 9. So even if it's a fraction, it's the same idea. It means 1/10 multiplied by itself, which would be 1 over 100. The next question is simply 10 times -2, which is -20. That's 1 point. Your next question, which is not a 1, but it says 1 for whatever reason. It says -100 divided by -50. 100 divided by 50 is 2, and negative divided by negative is positive. So your next line should be 2 plus -2, which in standard form is 0. 1 point for your work, 1 point for your answer. Next question, 2 plus 4 times -2, so it's be 2 plus -8, which is -6. 2 points, 1 point for the work, 1 point for the answer. Next one's a little long. It says -10 times 10 minus 12 plus 2 times -2. So if I simplified the brackets first, 10 take away 12 is -2, not 2. Then I have multiplication and addition, so I'm going to do my multiplication in the one step. -10 times -2 is positive 20. Add them together to give you 16. 2 points. 1 point for the work, 1 point for the answer. Your next question says -2x equals -10. The work they needed to show was dividing both sides by -2 with a line through it. We've all agreed that with algebra, you're going to do it my way or it's the highway. Even though there are multiple ways to solve it, I would like you to show it my way. And x will then equal 5. So 1 point for the exact work I showed, and 1 point for... Oh, x equals a positive 5. Your next question says x divided by -2 equals -10. So multiply by -2 is being shown like this. X will equal a positive 20. 1 point for exactly the same work I wrote. 1 point for the answer. Next question. 10 take away 2x equals 2. The constant is 10, so I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides to get rid of it. Negative 2x equals a positive 2 and a negative 10 make a negative 8. Divide both sides by the coefficient, and x will equal a positive 4. 1 point for the correct work, 1 point for the answer. Next question. Subtract 3 from both sides is your first step. A fifth of x equals negative 7. Because a negative 4 and a negative 3 make a negative 7. Multiply both sides by 5. And x will equal a negative 35. Your next question. 1 is your constant. Subtract 1 from both sides. Remember, this is the same thing as this, which is the same thing as this. Easiest to choose this way, so I'm going to write my next step like this, which will allow me to multiply both sides by negative 5 to get x equals 10. Is this your last question? Your last question says 2 squared plus 3 squared minus 4 squared, or 4 plus 9 minus 16, or 13 minus 16, which is negative 3. 1 point for work, 1 point for your answer.